All right, let's go down on the farm a little bit, and then we'll throw a lasso around Major League Baseball news and notes and call it a day here. All right, today's down on the farm. A couple guys in the notes, mostly positive, although Mick Abel and Griff McGarry are struggling. We'll talk briefly about them. Aiden Miller, let's start with him because every single thing you read about Phillies prospects always kind of starts and ends with Aiden Miller right now. I think after this year, he's going to be right behind Andrew Painter as the team's number 2 prospect because he started phenomenally down in Single A Clearwater. So far this year, his slash line is 333, 422, and 570 with 14 extra base hits, 4 of which are home runs, 10 doubles in just 23 games. He's already been moved up the MLB pipeline system to the number 49 prospect in all of baseball. So he's already cracked the top 50. He is second in Single A this year with 6 balls exiting the bat at over 105 miles per hour. And the best part of this is he's ahead of schedule defensively. He is playing shortstop right now. There has been a little talk about getting him some experience at third, or whispers, I should say. When we talked to him down in Clearwater, Renee, it was, no, I'm going to play short this year and go about it this way. But Aiden Miller is quickly becoming the crown jewel of the Phillies farm system.
He is, and the important thing to note is, first of all, he's 19 years old.
Yes.
But last year for the Threshers, in 10 games, he was hitting .216 without a home run. So you look at last year, this year, and the leaps that he's made as someone that we already know was coming in a little bit underrated because of his injury. And fell,
the Hammett bone.
Yeah, and fell much lower. But also, I know for Phillies assistant GM of amateur scouting, Brian Barber, he was mentioning how with Aiden Miller, the big attraction with him is his bat. You know, he is one of the best hitters in the country, and that's what they saw. And on the other side of it, as you mentioned, it's not just about his hits. He's also doing a better job with fielding and just overall. Coming into this past Friday night, Aiden Miller had registered 6 tracked hits with an exit velocity of at least 105 miles per hour. Only one player in Single A, 24-year-old teammate Dakota Katowski, has more such tracked hits at 8. So he's also doing a really good job of just honestly setting some records, getting some good numbers, and it's been great to see, especially since we had a chance to sit down with him. That's now we get to see how he's playing, and we already picked up on that. Like, we left the interview with him feeling like, wow, this kid is different.
Yeah,
he's
I just reached out. I'm reaching out to Clearwater as we speak, actually, to get him back on the show. I want to make him an official friend of the program.
For sure.
But John, Aiden Miller, this kid's got it.
It's incredible. Like you said, Renee, 19 years old, 19. Really seems like he's already due for a promotion.
I think he's going to move up.
I think he's going to rise quickly.
I think he'll be in Jersey by the end of the summer.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if he really pushes his case and gets near.
Yeah, somebody in the chat was saying, I forget who it was, I lost it, but they were saying I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing him get some outfield experience.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the Phillies infield, I mean, we once thought like maybe he's the third baseman because Alec Boehm doesn't become what he is right now. But if you look at the Phillies infield, it's pretty much set.
It's clogged.
Do you want to pay Alec Boehm top of the market third baseman money in 2 years? He's making the case that you better, but we'll see.
I know Steven Garrison's mentioning that. Yeah, he's blocked by everybody on the team.
Infield
so you do need to get him some outfield reps. And he is growing fast, as you mentioned, to be number 49 overall prospect across baseball and has moved up in some of the latest Phillies prospects list to that number 2 spot. He's one of the prospects that's rising on the list. There are some others that are dropping. Get the middle name in
because his mom likes it.
Aiden Bauer Miller, which is in itself
Mrs.
a
Miller's
rock star name.
Shout
out to Aiden's family, his mom especially, because you did a good job. ABM, Aiden Bauer.
Yeah, there you go.
Rock star name.
They really liked when we brought up the middle name. The mom. That brought a smile to mom's face.
I just remember, like, at 19 years old,
I was an
how
idiot.
polished he was with,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
with you all in the interview.
I was an idiot at 19. I can't imagine, like, doing
Somehow
interviews with adults.
With media and trying to establish a professional persona.
It's
at
funny.
that age is wild, and he's just he's pulling it off.
A couple other notes down on the farm. Now, David Dahl is not a prospect. He's not going to come up in many down on the farm reports really ever. He's another like Rodolfo Castro quad A type of player. But a 7-inning cycle is worth noting when you hear of something like that. That's phenomenal work by David Dahl, getting a cycle in 7 innings.
It really
My
is.
God.
And as you mentioned, this isn't a prospect. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
So this is not.
He's a taxi squad guy.
But he's somebody that can hang around and help. He's been plagued by injuries throughout his career.
Mm-hmm.
Actually made his major league debut in 2016. Was an all-star in 2019
Mm-hmm.
with the Rockies, where he played 100 games, which is actually the most games he ever played in his career. So he is a depth guy, a nice depth guy for the Phillies to have available if they need someone. He can be serviceable.
You know what's a shame? I just realized I think the word taxi squad guy is dead.
Oh, wow.
Do you hear that ever? Did Uber and Lyft kill the taxi squad player?
I think that's the
Is
kids
he
don't
an
know what
Uber
taxis
squad
are.
guy now?
Yeah, are you an
Like,
Uber
what
guy?
do- what's-
A
what do you
rideshare
say?
guy?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Taxis in
but-
general are pretty dead.
Yeah.
But I will say also just the fact that you're able to get David Dahl for a minor league contract for so cheap.
Good depth, yeah.
And I know they talked about being able to try to see what they can get out of him and as that depth piece if needed. But yeah, good for him. Nice to see.
Yeah. All right, the two negatives, Griff McGarry and Mick Abel. I believe Mick Abel is pitching Thursday this week. His numbers are pretty much the same, but his whip is 1.68. It's just not good. Now, Griff McGarry is in his new bullpen role. Now, there is one positive with Griff McGarry. He has 24 Ks in 16 innings. So his strikeout stuff is translating to this new role. The problem is his 1.50 whip tells you he's walking a lot of guys. He's walked 11 guys in those 16 innings. So he's putting unnecessary guys on base. The K stuff is there. Look, this is what the Phillies are good at doing. Taking somebody with stuff and eventually translating it to command, control, and learning how to pitch. The book is not closed yet on Griff McGarry, but you need to start seeing something.
Yeah,
soon.
you do need to start seeing something. Like you said, the Phillies have been good at developing these power arms and helping them find control. I think we'll have an example or two coming up in a bit, but they do a good job with the development, which is a weird thing to say about the Phillies. After
Yes, it is very strange. And it still doesn't sound right.
But I think there's two factors. They do a great job with the development, and then there's also just the numbers game of you bring in so many of these power arms with great stuff. A couple of them are going to figure it out command-wise and really become top-of-the-line pitchers.
Yeah,
I think is the thinking there.
Yeah, so hopefully, those two can turn it around, Renee.
And another I know in the chat was mentioned earlier about Andrew Painter. He is still on the 60-day IL. What's that?
He's not even throwing until, I think, October.
That's the thing. His timeline still is for 2025, so they're not rushing him back. That's something that had talked about. They had talked about. They want to just ease him back the right way. He does still remain a top prospect, and he is still somebody that we're excited to see, but it's not going to be for a little while until 2025. So yeah.
Last two guys down on the farm report. We're going to end on two positives.
I like it.
Our man Sam Aldegari in Jersey is doing pretty well. Aldegari. He has allowed 13 hits while striking out 37 in 32 innings. Anytime there's more Ks than innings pitched, that's a pretty good number. Yep. He's having a little bit of a walk issue his last two starts out. He's put 5 men on base each time. I mean, he was pretty much unhittable and unstoppable prior to these last two starts. But Sam Aldegari keeping it going with some strikeout stuff at Jersey. So that's good to see, too.
It's incredible to see the major league team having this much success. And then to also see, lots of young talent behind that. It's a great time to be a Phillies fan.
It really is.
It seems like they're set up they haven't just sold out and gone all in for this season. It looks like there's it's just a path to sustainable success here.
Yeah, and the last guy on the list, sorry, Renee, Michael.
Nope.
I just want to speed this up to get out of here.
Do your thing.
Michael Mercado is on the mound this afternoon in Lehigh Valley. Now this looks like it's got potential to be another Tampa Bay Rays trade fleece job. We talked about it when it happened in December. Another one of these, young guys with stuff that wasn't able to turn the corner in Tampa Bay. They got him for a bag of baseballs. So far this year, in 25 and 2/3 innings, he has a .35 ERA. His Ks per 9 are down about 3 per 9 from his typical average. But who gives a shit, Renee, when you have an ERA of .35?
Ooh, I know John is saying, there's my Mercado. Listen, another guy.
He's dealing.
The Phillies did a really good job of bringing in for cheap some arms to see what they can get out of them. And for Michael Mercado, another one, 25 years old, 6'4", got a great size, and he's been pitching really well. That's an impressive ERA. Nice to see.
Yeah,
Great
and
to see
hypothetical, man, with a big shout out to Ari Kilambi, the front office research and development guy that they stole from the Rays. Might have had some firsthand knowledge of Mercado's stuff. But they've really helped turn this around.
Yeah, very possible. And, Mercado is another example of these moves the Phillies make in the offseason where nobody's particularly excited. I remember the Turnbull news. It was just sort of like, here's the transaction the Phillies made. We discussed it. But
we discussed everything they did because
we discussed everything they did because it's a very long offseason.
Michael Mercado, Spencer Turnbull, every single move that was made, everyone was like, what are the Phillies doing? They need to make bigger moves. And some of them, like a Spencer Turnbull, has directly impacted, and some like Michael Mercado could be, someone in the future.
I would guess, John, he's like one of the next guys to maybe get a shot up if it's needed.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
If there's an injury or something.
Yeah, crowded roster right now.
Yeah, it is.
But to the extent they need somebody, you got to think he's right there.